Welcome back to Speducation. I am your host, Brandon Reed, and if this is your first time to the channel, a special welcome to you. Well, it's a new week and we have a new lesson. Now, last week we talked about associative versus cognitive and how that affects the individuals with learning disabilities. This week, once again, we're going to be revisiting reading. Now, why are we revisiting reading? Because one of the biggest hurdles that individuals with learning disabilities face is reading. I should know because I've been there myself. Whenever I'm reading text and then I have to answer questions, I have to reread the text sometimes 2 or 3 times to fully understand what it is that I'm reading. So what are we going to be learning about in regards to reading today? Today's lesson, what is it like to have a learning disability, part 9, processing what you're reading. Now, in previous videos, we've talked about different types of disabilities. And one of those disabilities that we talked about in the previous video was dysnomia. Do you remember what dysnomia is? If you don't, that's okay. Dysnomia is a type of learning disorder where individuals have difficulty coming up with the right words to use. Now, I suffer from this myself, and you've probably noticed this in my videos. Sometimes my mouth is moving faster than my brain, and sometimes I can't think of the right word because my brain is trying to process what I want to say. And so for individuals with learning disabilities, dysnomia can be very difficult, and that can relate to reading as well. But let me show you an example of what we're going to be learning today. I'm going to show you a clip from the F.A.T. City Workshop. The F.A.T. City Workshop. It stands for Frustration, Anxiety, and Tension, and it's what this series has been about. So, watch this clip and see what I'm talking about.
So what you're going to do now, for the first time in a very long time, you're going to get the opportunity to see what it's like to be dysnomic and to have speaking be a cognitive experience. Because here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell a round-robin story around the room. I'm going to give a sentence. I'm going to call on other people to give sentences. They're going to give sentences, and I want nice, long sentences, and I want each sentence related to the sentence in front of it, so it tells a good story all the way around the room. Speaking with Kelly. I'll start. The boys went to the beach on a sunny day. Go ahead, Kelly.
And they made sandcastles and drank soda and watched the waves.
Not a novel, Kelly. Just a sentence will be fine. Karen? Right, Karen?
Started to rain and they went home.
Okay, now they're going home. Okay, Karen?
When they got home, they were so bored they had to go out and get a video.
Okay, Lee. Now they've got a video.
They sat in front of the TV and ate a snack.
Okay, Maria?
The video machine broke and it got stuck.
Okay, Tom.
So then they took the machine back to the video store to get it fixed.
Ann?
And then they got there and the store was closed.
Okay, this is getting exciting. Okay, now see, speaking, we just did that activity where speaking was an associative task for you. Was that difficult? Not particularly, no. But now let's make it cognitive. Now what I'm going to do is make you go through what learning disabled children with dysnomia go through. Now I'm going to make the English language a cognitive experience for you, because now we're going to do the same thing, except I'm going to add another rule. And that is that you can't use any words that contain the letter N. Not just begin with the letter N, but contain the letter N. What you're going to have to do, if you think this is worst case scenario, I'm making it worse than it really is, listen to the way you sound. You're going to sound just like learning disabled children, because you're going through the same experience they go through. Because what I'm doing is I'm making it such that your retrieval system goes into storage but can't find the words you want. Then we'll find words and realize you can't use them. We'll get stuck in phrases that you can't finish. You're going to go through what LD kids go through. Now, I want everyone nice and loud. Again, good sentences, long sentences. Don't start thinking of sentences now, because they've got to be related to the sentence in front of it. No generic sentences, okay? Here we go. The boys went to the beach on a sunny day. Lee.
They ate treats.
They ate?
Treats.
They ate trees?
Treats!
Treats. They ate treats. Stephanie. Now they're eating. Remember, 2 lessons here.
The treats had
Quickly,
a
Stephanie.
lot
Quickly.
of sugar.
The treats had a lot of sugar. Yeah.
After they ate, they swam.
Jane. Remember, 2 lessons in this activity.
Water was very warm.
Okay, now quickly, let's go. Tom?
Water.
Quickly.
fell.
Here's a teaching tip, by the way, for you teachers. If an LD child is having trouble thinking of a word, snap your fingers, tap your feet, and remind them that everyone's waiting. That really helps.
So as you saw in the video, being able to tell a story is an associative task. You're asked to tell part of a story, and then somebody else is asked to tell another part of the story. Then another person is asked to tell another part of the story. And all you have to do is just come up with a different part of the story. However, individuals with dysnomia have difficulty with this. And the reason why is because they're having difficulty trying to find the right word. Now, how does this relate to reading? Well, that's what we're going to show you today. So we're going to do an activity. I'm going to give you a reading passage, and then I'm going to give you some questions that go along with the reading passage. And all you have to do is read the reading passage and answer the questions. That's it. Sounds simple, right? Let's see if you can do it. All right, let's do this. Oh, one tiny little tweak to this experiment. All of the words containing the letter N have been removed from this passage. Now, you have to come up with an alternate word that fills in the blank. And then you can answer the questions. Oh, and we're on a bit of a time crunch, so you've got about 1 minute to get this done. Ready? Here's the passage. Here are the questions. And here's the timer. Ready? Go. Okay, students, you have about 30 seconds left. 30 seconds. All right, students, you have about 10 seconds left, so start finishing up those answers. Oh, that's it. Time is up. Put down your pencils. How'd you do? What? You struggled? It wasn't that easy? Oh, come on. It wasn't that hard. I mean, seriously, all you had to do was think of a word that didn't start with the letter N. Anybody can do that. What, you don't believe me? Okay, check this out. Alex sought to buy a bag of chips. However, he felt hopeless because the chips cost cash, which Alex failed to have. So Alex decided to ask his mom plus his dad for help. They offered to give him cash to buy chips, but he had to make it. Alex thought about this. As a result, decided to take up his mom plus his dad's offer. His mom plus his dad gave him a list of chores to do. After he completed every item the list had, his mom plus his dad gave him the cash he required to buy his chips. Alex proceeded back to the store. See, it can be done. It's not that difficult. Okay, I'll be honest, I may have cheated and looked up words on Google, okay? However, if you are a learning disabled student and you're having to do that in class, you can't necessarily do that because, again, you have to read the passage and you have to answer the questions. And you can't use Google to figure out the meaning of unknown words. And also, not only that, but what about the time? Was 1 minute long enough? Probably not. But here's the thing. Einstein said time is relative. If you're really enjoying doing something at a fair or you're having fun doing an activity, 10 minutes can seem like 1 minute. Now, that seemed like it went by pretty quick, right? But here's the thing. What if I gave a learning disabled student 10 minutes to complete it? He's trying to read the passage, he's trying to figure out the meaning of the words, and then he has to answer the questions. And for him, 10 minutes flies by like it's only 1 minute. So again, time is relative. Now, because of that, what can we do to help individuals like this? Firstly, you need to give the student, say it with me, time. By giving the student time, you're allowing their brain to process the information. Remember how I said I sometimes make mistakes when I'm doing these videos because my mouth is moving faster than my brain. So it sometimes makes it hard for me to come up with the right word that I want to say. And even though I may take 2 or 3 different takes, sometimes it still looks like I'm tripping over my own words because I can't find the right word. And it's because, again, my mouth is moving faster than my brain. So I have to slow things down and I have to think about what it is that I want to say. And by providing time to students with learning disabilities, it allows them time to process what it is that they're trying to read and then what it is they're trying to say. So what's the second thing? Second, have the students read the question first. Again, this may seem like a really simple strategy, but it works. Again, if you're looking at a passage and then you're looking at questions, read the questions first, because then when you go into the passage, you know exactly what you're looking for, especially if you're dealing with dates or times or people or events. Because if it's asking you about a specific event, then that means that you'll know exactly what it is you're looking for in the passage, and it makes your job a little bit easier. Third, help the students understand what they are reading by breaking it down. We talked about this before. It's a method called chunking. And when you have a passage that's kind of big like the one that you just read, sometimes it's easier to break it down into individual sentences. Because if the student is having difficulty with understanding the words in one sentence, trying to understand the words in the whole passage can be a little overwhelming. So by breaking it down and looking at each of the individual sentences, it makes it a little bit more manageable for the student, and they don't feel so intimidated.
What's next?
Well, hang on. I mean, hopefully you understand more about how reading and processing works, and hopefully some of the strategies that I was able to give you will be able to help your child or your student. I mean, does that make sense?
When I ask what's next, it means I'm ready to move on to other things. So, what's next?
Gotcha. Well, let's take a look. Next week's lesson, what is it like to have a learning disability? Part 10, fairness doesn't mean equal. And if you liked what you saw today, or you learned something new and you found today's lesson interesting, please click the like button. And if you want updates on future videos, feel free to click the subscribe button and ring the bell for updates on future videos. And unlike President Bartlett, if there are some questions that you have following the video, or you have some comments or anything that you would like to share with me, please drop a line in the comments section and I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, class dismissed.